Yo, guys, what is going on? Lucky G7 is back again from a little mini hiatus. I don't know if I mentioned it here on the channel. I think I did, but for those of you who follow me on Twitter, y'all know I was out of town for the entirety of last week because, New Year's celebration, went out on the cruise, it was amazing, great time. And the last thing I talked about was Eden Zero. So I think it's actually kind of fitting that this year starts off, and the first not the I wouldn't call it the first reaction video, but the first discussion video I do is related to Eden Zero. Because that's how we ended up last year, and this year we open it up with Eden Zero. And not only that, the last chapter, 221, was the final chapter of Volume 25? Yeah, Volume 25. It's the last chapter of Volume 25. So it was a fitting way to end off the year because you bookend the volume and you start off this year with a new volume, Volume 26. If I remember correctly, right? Let me double check on the what the wiki says because I know with how Eden Zero's pattern's been when it comes to volumes. Yeah, this should be Volume 26 because based on the pattern, 23 ends on 203, 24 ends on 212. So 25 should end on 221. What again I think is a fitting way to end off the volume. But 222 started 1.6. And I'm actually curious. I'm super curious about what the afterward section is going to be because unlike a lot of other manga videos, at least from what I've noticed, Hiro's like the only one that I know of that'll like drop like details about like the story, like his thought process on how certain things went in the story, how certain character stuff occurred, and that's been present in all of his volumes since Rave Master. Like if you read Rave Master and you've been sticking with him like up to this point, you know what the man talks about in his afterward section. So I'm curious as to what it's going to be when we do get Volume 24 officially, because I'm pretty sure we're going to get some content in that that's going to reveal a few things about the direction of where we go. And who knows? Like by that point, by the time Volume 25 drops, we're definitely going to get some for sure, because there'll already be a handful of chapters up at that point. But y'all aren't here for that. Y'all aren't here for me to talk about my thoughts about so and so. Y'all want me to talk about the chapter 222, and we got this nice, beautiful cover page of Rebecca with her Neko channel, the beekeeper in the background. I think that's Happy. Is that supposed to be Happy with a Pikachu costume? Like, I'm looking at this cover page. I'm like, yo, is that supposed to be like a mock Pikachu costume? I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just like, that's actually. I know a lot of people are gonna focus on yo, but look at how sexy she is. Look at that. By no means is Rebecca not sexy. She's beautiful. She is flat out drop dead gorgeous. But there are other things in the cover page that's like worth checking out, like little other details. Got a few suitcases here, like a B-cube screen. So definitely Rebecca just having a great time. That's for sure. And here's the thing: sometimes these cover pages they'll have some shit that you won't even notice. Because I had to do that a couple times, and I was like, "Wait a second, I should have focused more on that." So, and then this one's just more like a fun cover page. Maybe there will be something in here, and I want to look back and I'll be like, "What the?" But ultimately, with where it is right now, it is what it is. So, we're still on Granville for the most part. That's the thing. We're still on Granville to address where the last chapter was, because it seemed like, oh, we just zoomed past it. I know that's the impression a lot of people got. Like, wait, did we really just zoom past like all that stuff? But no, we're in the cafe, and Shiki's like, this feels kind of weird, and Rebecca's like, I know, my memories from this world and the last are all jumbled up. And Happy's like, back in the old world, I was a bum. See, Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta take this. So give me just one. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean for that little interruption to take place. There was just one little thing I had to take care of, and it was like just super, super quick. It wasn't anything major, to say the least. But that's the thing I needed to address right now because I was caught up on like the worst part about this. Because Happy's like, yo, I was a bot in the old world. And I'd be like, yeah, you were my weapon. And she's like thrown off on this. He's like, me, like, wait a second, hold up. You're not a bot in this world? And Happy's like, I'm flesh and blood. And Shiki's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Things can't be different and can be that different in this world. And Rebecca's like, it's Universe Zero. We've reached the final world. And Shiki's like, yeah, now we'll get the game together and go find Mother. I can't use Cat Leap in this world. We won't get any more do-overs. That's okay. I'm sure it'll all work out. See, and that's the thing I want to address here. The fact that Shiki says, I'm sure it will all work out, that has me suspicious. That has me super, super suspicious. Because let's be fair. Happy, at this point in time, is flesh and blood. And not that long ago, we got something from Rebecca just remembering about her nightmare. When Shiki says, happy, what's a dead cat gonna do? Like, that's still locked into my mind right now. So, I can only just sit here and think that it has to, like, that has to happen at some point. Especially with this line of dialogue here where he's like, I'm sure it will all work out. Because something tells me it's not gonna all work out. And this is something that Rachel mentioned a few chapters back, where she was like, things can happen the way you want it to, but things also could happen the way you don't want it to. So it's just a food for thought. Also, hey, Icebox 606. I'm doing great, actually. I'm doing really, really great. I'm just, you know, over here talking about, Eden Zero. How are you doing? Like, how are things starting off for you with the new year? And how do you feel about like the manga so far? But anyway, let me get back to my thoughts on this. So We're over here. We see the bots. Michael's there. Martha's there. There's a few other bots too. I should have remembered them off the top of my head. Oh my god! And I was just rewatching the first episode. It's like a few days back, so I was like, I should have known these off the top of my head. But Michael's like the one that comes on mind. Michael and Castaway, definitely. I have no idea what they're talking about. It seems like they've been friends for a while, I guess. And Michael's like, what's going on? And Shiki like looks over and says, Michael, I'm going to see the Castaway. And he's like, wait, what? So you see the castle, you see the king, and he's like, what are you doing here, Shiki? I told you to never come here. And okay, I love what happens next because this part, I kind of expected that, okay, yeah, we're going to tackle this. Like, as soon as Shiki came here, I was like, yo, it's done. It's done. It's okay. He can drop the axe or Catherine. I'm leaving Granville. And he's like, excuse me? And Shiki just has that smug look on his face. Like, you remember, you promised Grandpa you'd send me out into space, so you... And he's like, I'm not following. The planet ether is running out, and you didn't want me to be alone, so you... And he's... The Castellan is still just like, what are you talking about? This planet has an abundance of ether. We're set to last another 1,000 years at least. And again, now Shiki's thrown off. He's like, what? Excuse me? The Castle's like, no, if only we could get some guests. And Shiki still is just stuck on the hallway, an abundance of ether. Yes, thanks to Demon King Ziggy. A long time ago, he made a device that recycles it. And now our planet has more ether than ever before. Now, keep in mind about this. Is that Ziggy's monument, his remnants are still there. Which could still come into play. I want to say that right now. That could still come into play here. But what I think is interesting is how you have like these little tablets behind it. So it's kind of like a sanctum, if you will, like a shrine for Ziggy. Which I think is really cool. I think it's really, really cool. And Shiki's like just grandpa. He says, Grandpa, Rebecca's like, looks like things are differently on Granville too. And Happy's like, never mind that. You say you're leaving. So Cass says. And Jake is like, yeah. The Demon King knew you would say that to me. He knew you would say that to me one day. And so he left me something to give you. And as soon as this happens, like Shiki's like, wait, what? Come with me. You see like murmurs, like tremblings, rumblings, if you will. Not that rumble. A lot of people are gonna get an idea. Not that kind of rumbling. But the bots are like, what's all this ruckus? Shiki says he's leaving Granville? Now we get to see what the Demon King left for him. Stay back, all of you. Vacate the plaza. And like the plaza opens up. Shiki and Rebecca are like, wait, what? The ground's opening up. And you see something like rising out of the surface. What is that? And to Shiki's surprise, Rebecca's surprise, Happy. And Shiki's like, no way. Is that? Castellan says, the jet black wings soar across the cosmos. The Demon King's warship, the Eden's 0 and 2. This was such a badass part. Like I remember reading this yesterday, and I was just like thinking to myself, dude, like that again. It's such a contrast from what we know because we know when it comes to Eden 0, they didn't get the ship until like Volume 3, which is when they encountered Elsie. And here it's different because Ziggy left the ship on Granville. Which makes me wonder something. That actually makes me wonder about Elsie and her involvement in this. Did Ziggy ever go out to find Elsie? Or no? Because we know in the Universe 1 timeline, which affects Universe 2 and Universe 3. But ultimately, the thing is, Ziggy left the ship to Elsie in Universe 1. And Shiki finds his way to get in the ship that way. Here, Ziggy leaves the ship on Granville, and Castellan's the one that gives it to him. So what does that say for Elsie? Like, I honestly just have to wonder. It, I just, again, I really have to wonder what this entails. I really do. But you have Shiki, have Rebecca, like being super cheerful. Happy's there too, and Michael and the bots, and like they're all like there, and I give them the farewell. I'm like, thanks, guys. Seriously, thank you for everything. I promise. Once I've done what I'm setting out to do, I'll be back. And the bots are like, don't be so dramatic. It's not like this is goodbye forever. Boy setting out on a journey. It's a major life event. Tell everyone in space to come to my tavern. Yeah, my tavern. And Castellan's like, go, carry out the demon king's wishes. And Michael's like, just doesn't know what to say. I don't suppose I could come with you. And Shiki says, Michael, I appreciate the thought, but it's gonna be dangerous. Wait for me here. I promise. Like, this was honestly touching. But like, given everything we know about Shiki and what he's gone through, like, a lot of people are gonna say, yo, fuck this shit. No, this is bullshit. I would actually have to disagree. Because all the events in the story still happen. What Shiki, Rebecca, everything that they went through, that still plays a factor here. This is actually fine. Because here's the thing. Shiki knows if Michael goes out with him, some mad shit's gonna go down. Because here's the thing. The Eden's won. Regardless of what you say, that thing is out there. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that shit's gonna come back into play. In the final side. You can't sit here and tell me that we're in Universe 0 and we do not encounter the Eden's 1. That ship's gonna play a part, for sure. And knowing what we know about the Eden's 1, the fact that it, like, manipulated Ziggy. And again, his remains are still there. It's not like it's not there. You know? But that said, honestly, that said, Michael's there. He says okay. And Shiki says, to all my friends, thanks for being here for me. I was never alone. I mean it. Thank you. Michael, Mithra, I said Martha, John and Annie. There we go. I was like, there's two other names, and I blanked on. So yeah, John and Annie, Holly, sarcastic. And the fact that we're focusing on Ziggy too, like, I feel like Ziggy is gonna play a part in this year in some way, shape, or form. Like, we know he has so far, given that he left the ship on the ground. But the fact that his remains are there, he looks over and says, "Grandpa, it's time for me to go. The ship's there. They're out in space." And Rebecca says, "Being on the ship, it feels like I'm finally back, but also like I never left." And Happy's like, "Yeah, it's still kind of weird. This world isn't like the one we were in before. I feel like this world exists to make sure we can all be happy." You see Rebecca, you see Happy. Happy's like, "What are we gonna do now?" Rebecca's like smiling, blushing, and everything. We get the crew back together. First, we find Wise. We're going to normal. And I actually like the pose that Hiro drew Shiki in because if you go back to chapter 1 and you look at this pose, he was like, "They can't hear me. Should I break the window?" Like it's the same pose. Context is much different though, and so I think that's actually kind of that's a neat little callback in my opinion. I find that as a neat callback to this, but we get this panel Mother, and Shiki's still saying, "We're going to find Mother. That's how we're going to save her and the universe." And Happy's like, "This is turning into a real epic adventure. If anyone can do it, we can." And here's the thing: he's sitting in the chair. He's sitting on the throne of the Eden Zero ship. His ether gear power activates upon contact, activating Protocol A7, executing chain of command transfer procedure. Protocol A7 complete. The doors open up. Welcome home, great Demon King. I'm the one charged with the maintenance of the ship. And yo, when I saw this, I legit was sitting here going like, God damn, because actually, hold on. I think the pages are not aligned perfectly because hold on. Yeah, I think this page and the next page are flipped. I think this page will have to be the one before that, but sensible. Well, let's remember the old world when he sees us, right? Like we all do. Wait a minute. If Happy didn't get into the act, does that mean you never met Professor Wise? No, we met him for a different reason. We had the same relationship as last time. I guess you could say history has a way of repairing itself. This world is different, but it's like we're following the same basic history before. I don't really get it anyway. We're going to find our friends. Then we're going to come. We're going to go see your mom, Rebecca. And after that, we're cool. After we see her, we're going to know how to get to Mother. So again, I think this page comes before, like the page when you have the person walking in. But the fact that we have old Weiss over here, I think is a pretty clear indicator. I feel like this is a big indicator that the Weiss we're gonna get is Old Man Weiss, and I'm totally fine with that. I think that'd actually be pretty cool if the Weiss we find on Old Man is actually just Old Man Weiss, and he's the one that travels with them. That there's a lot you could do with them. There's also just a lot, but just imagine, oh my god, the memories that Old Wise would have with the Wise from what they know. He'll be like, yo, what am I getting into? I am like done. I can imagine him going through some shit like that. But little scenarios like that are just amusing in and of itself. But let's see here. But anyway, now because I know these two pages are mixed up, and I know the volume when the volume comes out, they're probably gonna have this reversed. But I am the one charged with the maintenance of the ship. So to bring this all back to that other page, you see Witch, and I'm not gonna lie, my heart's skipping because oh my god, Witch comes out and she's like, "I'm Witch of the Demon King's four shining stars," and you see like the tears on Shiki, you see the tears on Rebecca and Happy, you see like all their memories like flashing through, like the first time. You see, yeah, and actually, Weiss was there. Now that I think about it, like young Weiss was present when Witch was there. So that's a big difference now. That's a huge difference. Is that young Weiss is not present for this point. So that's already one big significant difference here with that moment. You have this moment here where they're heading to Million, um, Red K, Xenolith, her sacrifice. And see, and that's the thing. Those events still happen. It's not a way to say, yo, like we're undoing everything. Now that's not what this is. This is like those events still play out. And I got a theory on this. My theory, actually no, I want to say this until we get to the chapter. So Shiki says witch, and he's like, yes. I am an android built by the great demon King. All rights to me command me. Yep. like, like they tackle Rebecca and Shiki like tackle Witch in a hug. And they're like, Witch, it's you, you're back, and Witch is like super confused. Like, what? If I may ask, what's going on? That's the thing. Witch has no idea. Because again, this is Universe 0. So the witch from the other universe and this universe is like totally different. But again, things play out differently in this universe. Happy's no longer a bot. He's flesh and blood. And like I said, the repercussions from Rebecca's nightmare, that could still come back into play. I'm telling you, that's what Hiro's setting up. We're gonna get the Rebecca nightmare scene. That's gonna happen. People are gonna think I'm crazy about that, but I'm 100% of the belief that we're gonna get that. Because keep in mind this, and I have to stress this: Hiro has mentioned time and time again throughout the course of Eden Zero, he has the ending of the story planned. I want everyone to keep that as a reminder. He has Eden Zero story planned. Okay? The way he described it in Volume 3, go back to the Volume 3 afterwards, actually. He mentioned how it's going to be a blend of the two. He has like the bullet points of the story for Eden Zero. But the road to getting to the ending is how you have the whole fairy tale aspect of like, okay, you have these plot points, but it's a matter of connecting the dots. And I've always said this, that's an intriguing idea, actually. Of like, okay, you have the bullet points, you just have to connect the dots. So how we're connecting the dots, thus far, we're, again, 25 volumes in. This is the start of volume 26. It's fascinating. It's actually really, really fascinating seeing where Eden Zero starting off and where we are currently. But I do want to say this. The final panel. Final panel of this chapter ends with Shiki saying, I hereby order you never die again. And again, that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big deal. And I can already smell some people in the comments already saying, yo, what the fuck is this shit? What is this? This is stupid. This is horrendous. This is outright like insanity. We were having a good story so far. Why are you no Hiro? Like why? And here's the thing: there are a few things to be concerned about with Universe. I'm not going to say there isn't. There are some things where you're like, okay, maybe we should take it back. But keep in mind about this: we're only 2 chapters in. If we want to count last chapter, like the last chapter of the first chapter of Universe 0, so be it. But okay, like I said, we're technically 2 chapters into this arc, and I don't think it's fair to say we should judge it based on that. But personally, for me, when it comes to this chapter of Eden Zero, like I said, it took a few directions where I didn't think we were going to go. Because I, for the most part, thought that, okay, we were going to travel through story beats we were already at. But Hiro said, no. This is not going to go how you think it's going to go. You may think, yeah, bullet point A could go to bullet point B. Not in Universe 0. Universe 0 plays out way differently than how you imagine things are going to be. And again, I know it's titled A Happy World, and maybe this could be a case where, yeah, some shit happens, some shit doesn't. But everyone, and I have to say this again, because I mentioned it early on in the live discussion, keep Rachel's words in mind. Some things will go the way you want it to, some things won't. Okay? So, Witch being alive is one thing. But that doesn't mean the other shining stars are safe. Like, if we had Witch and Valkyrie die, throughout the story, this time around, it could be, oh my god, I can't even imagine this. Like, it could be Hermit and Ivory. could be the opposite. And again, that would create a whole different dynamic for the crew then, because now you have Witch there, yeah, Valkyrie there. And again, I know Valkyrie would do a lot, would be a little weird considering what the impact that it had on Homura. So, like that whole scenario, I'm not sure of. Again, this arc still just started off, so we gotta just wait and see. But I'll say one thing: I do believe 100% that we're gonna get Old Man Wise. I 100% think we're gonna get him. He's gonna be the Weiss weekend. He's gonna be the one that travels with the crew. I'm 100% certain on that. Labilia has me curious because in the last reaction, I said they'll probably go to Labilia because, Blue Garden. And I know at this point, Labilia would still kind of be a snob, if you will. Like the most popular, like, oh my god, look at me, fuck you. Like, she'll have that personality, but I do think there will be something to where actually no. Now that I think about it, because of how Castellan was, how the bots act up, I could see it to where maybe in this universe, like Rebecca and Labilia are like besties right off the gate. I just thought about that. No, that is a thing that could be plausible. Now that I think about it, like again, there's so many ways you can take it in Zero, but I'll say this. Like I said, Old Man Wise, definite possibility. Elsie and Justice, I don't know. Now, how interesting would it be actually if Justice is in the Orationes Galactica and Elsie is on the Orationes Interstellar? That would actually be interesting. Oh my god. Imagine if the rules flipped this time. Everyone who was Orationes Galactica is now Interstellar, and whoever's on Interstellar is now Galactica. Crazy too. Or, like I said, it could just be Elsie and Justice just flip. If it's just those two characters that are just flip sides, then yeah. But and who knows? It could be a couple too. They could be. Maybe. Part of me also has to wonder about Xiao Mei. Xiao Mei, look, final act. That's the big. We're in the final act of the story. What does that mean for Xiao Mei? And I've been promising this video for a while. It's my theory on Xiao Mei being the future daughter of Shiki and Rebecca, and she's the one that's telling their story. And again, given the whole complexities about the Noxfire clan and how they operate, I don't think it's that much of a stretch to believe that Xiao Mei's connected to that. But again, that's a video I do think to like sit down, like actually like thoroughly like do my research and analysis on, because that's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while, and I honestly hope I get to that before we get to the end. Maybe if we hit a break, I'll probably tackle it then. But overall, I just have to say for this chapter alone of Eden Zero, I can't call it pure perfection. It's not. I'm not gonna call it that. The most I'll give it is amazing. It's a near perfect chapter. Near perfect. Okay? There are a few things where you're like, yo, that's pretty cool. But there are also some things where you're like, okay, like Hiro, good shit. That's pretty cool. But like I said, Eden's one is still floating around somewhere. Second, that thing comes back, like it's go time. So we still gotta gather Weiss, Labilia, Laguna, Jin, Clean. Who else is on the crew? I don't think. There's somebody else I'm missing, and I'm not sure who it is. Hold on. Moscow. Yeah, there we go. The pigs of Eden. Yeah. Moscow. Pino for sure. Actually, Pino, I have to wonder how she's going to fight the longest too. Yeah, there's so many ideas. Like, there's so much that has to be talked about here. And remember with what Hiro Mashima said, is that as far as Eden Zero goes, when it pertains to how long the series can last, he estimated longer than Rave Master, but shorter than Fairy Tail. So if Rave Master was around like 35 volumes, like let's say 297 chapters, at least. Keep that in mind, 297 chapters in total. That's how long Rave Master was. Fairy Tail was 545, I think. Hold on, I gotta double check. Fairy Tail is the one that I is stuck on the most. I gotta really look back on that. Who knows? Maybe eventually I'll just collect the volumes just to be like, yo, let's reference this. I know it's 540. Yeah, 545. Boom, called it. 545 chapters. So if it comes to that, longer than Raymaster, shorter than Fairy Tail, that could be anywhere from 300 to, let's say, 340 chapters. And if we look at it like that, that would mean like 130 volumes. No, not 131. Well, let me correct myself here. That would be an estimate of 130 chapters. And if you break that down with what we have currently, let me see real quick. So 221 is the end of 125. So let's do the chapter. 26 will end up on 230. 27 will end up on 239. 28 will end up on 248. Hold on, wait. Let me do my math real quick again. So 26 ends off on 230. 27 ends up on 239. 28 ends up on 248. 29 ends up on 257. 30 ends up on 266. 31 would end up on 275. 32 would end up on 284. 32 would end up on 293. And 34 would be 302. 35 would be 311. Yeah, that'd still actually be longer. Now that I think about it. Like, chapter-wise, that'd still be a lot. We'd still, like, imagine if it's still 35 volumes. Like, it's, like, the volume length is still the same with Eden Zero. But the chapter count is what's different. So it could still be 35 volumes. So if we look at it like that, what would that be? 9 volumes? Yeah, 9 volumes. That would be a total of 9 volumes, actually. If we go the volume route, like 311 chapters is still technically longer than Raven. That's still sticking true to what Hiro's saying. But again, if we want to go, like, let's say 36 volumes, so 320, that would be 36. So 10 volumes max. Yeah, I'll say that. I think 10 volumes max, I could see at the most. Like 10, 11 volumes at the most, I could probably see this final arc. At the most. 9 is kind of where I'm stretching. I think 9 volumes for sure. Given Eden Zero's pacing, I think that's definite. That's definite. I see a few of you have commented on a few things. Icebox already commented on you, but and hey, Blue's here. Imagine that. My favorite person in the whole wide world. Okay, one of my favorite persons. I can't say the only favorite person. But Blue, I know you're watching this, so I hope you're having a great day. But let's see. I hope Hiro isn't going to undo all the deaths. I feel like this will lose all the impact this series had intention to build up, like like with what happened in Fairy Tail. Well, again, I kind of addressed this point earlier, is that the tension is still there, but it's a matter of like what happens moving forward. And I do get your concern. That's a huge concern. I'm not going to say that that's not there, because even I'm kind of wondering that too. I was like, okay, how different are things going to play out? Because let's be fair, some dark shit's going to happen. We've seen that throughout Eden Zero so far, and I have my doubts. Okay, I'm going to say this right now. Given with how Hiro has taken Eden Zero so far, I have my doubts that Hiro's gonna like pull back from that now in the final arc of the story. I have my doubts about that, but it is a concern that's warranted. I'm not gonna say it isn't, but we'll see. There'll probably be a couple. I think you're referring to LCN Justice. Yeah, that's possible too. Well, this will probably take at least 20 chapters to gather everyone back together. So 20 from 26 to 27. Yeah, I can see that. That's possible. And Icebox is here too. He's saying, "You're started off kind of mad for me, to be honest, but I've been enjoying Eden Zero as usual. It's been really great, and a lot of interesting stuff happening with Universe Zero so far. I can't wait for more." Yeah, no, dude, definitely. I like Universe Zero is so fast. It really is. Like I said, Ziggy's still there. Like his corpse is still like just chilling on ground. And I could see Hero using this as an opportunity to bring Ziggy back in the fold. I I think that's a possibility. Now, how much of a role Ziggy plays into Universe Zero, I have no idea. But here's the thing: if that ship comes back, no, not if, when that ship comes back, you know we're fucked. Let me say that right now. You know we're fucked when the Eden One ship just starts coming back, because that ship is going to come back into the fold eventually. We just don't know when. But yeah, there's so many variables we can go into. Like there really is. There's so many variables that can be talked about with Eden Zero, with this final act, that we just have to wait and see. I know the next chapter that's titled. They did release that. Chapter 223 is going to be titled "Memory and Ability," which I think what Hero's going to do with that. And again, I'm only going to speculate on the chapter title. I think that's probably going to have to do with when they reunite and how the memory thing works, because we didn't really get an explanation behind that with Rebecca and Shiki. Yeah, you can kind of say we kind of did with the gravity pulling them together and then like getting memories, but the fact that it's called memory and ability, I definitely think what the next chapter will focus on, in my opinion, not only going to normal, but I definitely think we're going to dive into like how they're going to be able to get everybody's memories back, like basically be up to speed, if that makes any sense. But yeah, depends on how many bad guys there are for the final arc. Yeah, that's another good thing. Well, it is depend on how many villains we have for the final arc. But yo, I just no. Imagine this: dealing with Drac and Joe again, which his role is going to be interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I'm I'm really interested about the villains we come across this time. Especially here's the thing, because there were some villains we didn't really get a lot out of before. Case in point, and Hiro even admitted to this too, which I give mad props here. Like Hiro is one of the few mangakas I have the utmost respect for, because the guy is like honest to a T when it comes to his story. But when it comes to Hiro, like he even knows like, okay, yeah, I should have probably worked that in. And I feel like now, like maybe this could be his chance. Maybe Cure could be. He tackles it the way he wants to. What else is there? Holy could definitely play a totally different role altogether too. And there's Aknowella. Aknowella for sure. Actually, would Aknowella even exist? I, shit. I could see it for another 5 minutes and just speculate, like, yo, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. But in my opinion, we're just gonna have to wait and see. We're honestly just gonna have to wait and see what Hero has to offer. And look, I don't care what anyone says. When it comes to planning and ending, from what I've experienced with Hero when it comes to Raymaster, like I can pull off a really fantastic and a great story. So I'm gonna regurgitate on that again. Story, he has planned, but the road to get into these certain plot points is the key here. But right now, where we're at the moment is gathering the crew back together. And how we gather everybody up together, something we'll have to wait and see. But like I said before, guys, overall rating on this chapter is an amazing plus. I did kind of wish we got a little bit more on name. And again, I'm just nitpicking here. Maybe if we get a little hint of like, okay, of what somebody else was doing. But again, that's just me being super nitpicky. And aside from that, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm Lucky G7. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Eden Zero. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace. Have a great day and a wonderful happy new year that is going to be 2023. Later, guys.